If you volunteer with kids or teenagers, you've probably heard it's just a phase, at least once. And usually the word phase in this sentence means a season or a stage that a kid is in that we look forward to being over. And maybe you lead kids that are in that I don't share phase, or I don't eat things that touch phase. Or maybe you lead teenagers who are in the TikTok influencer phase, or the energy drinks are actually a food group phase. The point is, no matter what age group you lead, we often talk about their age and stage of development by saying, it's just a phase, but don't worry, it'll be over soon. But what if we are missing the best part? What if each stage of development is actually an opportunity and not just an obstacle that's in a kid's life? Here's what I mean. Let's start by redefining the word phase. Phase is defined as a time frame in a kid's life when you can leverage distinctive opportunities to influence their future. Did you catch that? There are distinct opportunities you have in the preschool years, in the elementary years, in the middle school years, and in the high school years. Because kids are developing and their brains are forming in unique ways at each phase, we have the opportunity to influence their future in a unique way. That's why for the rest of our time together, you're going to hear from some experts in the phase that you lead. And as we do, there's a phrase that I want you to remember. It's just a phase, so don't miss it.
So, you've signed up to lead elementary school kids. Maybe you've noticed they love having fun with their friends, or they have active imaginations, or maybe they ask why after everything you say. That's because they're kids. Elementary schoolers don't think like middle schoolers, and they don't think like preschoolers. They're unique. And because of how their brains are developing, they're growing in all sorts of ways. Physically, mentally, emotionally, relationally, and spiritually. And you will have some opportunities at this stage of their life that you'll never have again. Here's what I mean. During the elementary phase, kids have active imaginations that bring up all these questions about the universe and how it works. And to figure out the answers to those questions, elementary brains need hands-on activities to test and explore how things work and how they apply to their lives. That's because in the elementary phase, kids are concrete thinkers. They imagine the most literal way you can understand words and ideas. So if you want them to think abstractly about, say, anything related to faith, you need to teach it in a hands-on, concrete way. Okay, I know I'm nerding out. I could talk about brain stuff and faith formation all day, but for the purposes of this conversation, I want us to focus on one big idea. Elementary schoolers think like scientists. That means they understand the world through concrete evidence and things they can test repeatedly. It also means kids in the elementary phase discover how things work through repetition and clear application. So, like a scientist, they learn best when they can observe how something works in their everyday world. Maybe with the kids you serve, you help them learn by repeating big ideas or examples of how those ideas play out in their everyday lives. Maybe you engage them with role play or games that demonstrate a principle from Scripture. When you help an elementary schooler discover how something works, you're leveraging that scientist brain to help them remember truth, not just on Sunday, but all week long. Here's another big idea. Elementary schoolers are motivated by fun. That means their brains are wired to learn best when they're at play. It also means when you show up each week and you engage their interests, you're helping them connect the dots between God's big story and their everyday world. In addition to showing up consistently, there are a few other ways you can engage an elementary schooler's interests. So first, keep it active. Most kids are kinesthetic learners. They need to move to make the most of what they're learning in order to remember it and put it into practice. Second, keep it relational. Kids learn exponentially in the context of mentors and friends. Make sure you keep showing up and build strong relationships with the kids in your small group. And third, keep it fun. Fun is the currency of the elementary phase. Fun earns you the next 5 minutes of their attention. And if they're having fun, chances are they're also learning. Listen, I want you to know that when you show up each week, you're not a babysitter. You are creating a safe place where the story of God's love and kindness can be hardwired into an elementary schooler's developing brain. Years from now, What they believe about God, themselves, and others will be impacted by what you do in this phase. And there are only 52 weeks this year before a second grader becomes a third grader or a preteen moves on to middle school. This year, we have distinct opportunities to influence a kid's future. So make each week count. Remember, it's just a phase, so don't miss it.